Hey Gemini, how's it going? My name's Alex, and I think the Oracle and I might have some useful insight for you tonight. Before I turned the camera on, I was meditating, getting into your vibe, tuning into your wavelength, and it took a long time before I got anything. And I just sat in my meditation, and then suddenly I got pulled through some, I don't know, I didn't really see anything, it just felt like a portal or something, like some energetic hole opened up. And I went through it and I showed up in Africa. And I saw some gazelles or maybe antelopes, I don't really know the difference, running across like the Serengeti, right? And it was like, felt very free, and it was like a real rush, like just these galloping animals. And in the background was Uluru. It's like that giant mud mound hill place. I think it's called Uluru. And yeah, that was it. But it was this feeling of like intense freedom. It was nice and sunny and warm. I don't know. Maybe that's significant to someone. And then afterward, I was waiting for something more for you, but nothing else came. But it was a very, very relaxing and rejuvenating meditation that I had, more so than usual. It was a very, very nice meditation. I don't know if that's significant for you, but you might want to, maybe you just need to feel centered and go into stillness and have stillness. And then I pulled an itching hexagram for you, and I think this idea of stillness is going to be important for you. So the hexagram I got is hexagram 26, Great Accumulation. And there's one changing line, that third line there, third up from the bottom, changes to the hexagram 41, Declining. So Great Accumulation changes to declining. Or decreasing, I'm sorry, decreasing. And basically, Great Accumulation is symbolized by a person collecting bundles of grass and storing them. It's essentially accumulation of virtue. If one is truthful, one accumulates virtue. And it's also about accumulating knowledge, accumulating skills, perhaps accumulating wealth, recalling and your memories. You have a good memory of words and deeds from the past, and there's a lot that you're accumulating, and you're being asked to accumulate, to practice your skills, and for now, restrain yourself. It's not a time to advance. It's not a time to move forward with your plans yet. You still have to practice daily your skills. You have to practice virtue. Virtue is like a skill that needs to be practiced as well every single day. It's in all the little choices we make, all the ways we react, how we control our emotions, how we control our thoughts, how we control our actions and our speech. We have to make sure that these things come from a virtuous place within us, and that center of virtue gets stronger and stronger like a muscle the more we practice it. It's a skill, and it's a part of ourselves that is more or less, it can atrophy or it can grow in strength. And you're being asked to grow it in strength, that you've been doing really well doing that you are a truthful person and you have been accumulating virtue. And so you might feel antsy and anxious. That's part of this changing line, is that you might feel a little impatient to advance, to act, to move forward with what you want to do, and you're kind of, you just feel anxious to move forward. This would probably be a mistake at this moment. The time is not yet. It's probably soon, and that's why you're getting anxious, because you feel the moment coming. But you're still not quite prepared. The fruit is not quite ripe. The accumulation is not finished, because this hexagram is great accumulation, and great accumulation is for great achievements. It's not just for regular achievements. It's not regular accumulation for regular achievements. This is great accumulation for great achievements. And you have to do what you know is right. And if you do what you know is right, no harm will be done. But if you do what you know is wrong, devastation will follow. So the symbol is mountain above heaven. Mountain above, heaven below. Now heaven is that creative force, and the mountain is that stillness, that complete stillness. And the mountain is above the heaven. The stillness is above the creative force. The creative force is being contained and restrained by the stillness, and this is important. You have to take care and not be reckless with your actions. And as you're feeling anxious to move because you probably have accumulated some skills that you're very enthusiastic about, some sort of knowledge, some sort of skill, something like that. And there's this thing called, I think it's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. I think that's what it's called. And basically the idea is a person who is a beginner at something is extremely enthusiastic about it. You see this in, let's say, music production. That's something that I'm familiar with. Someone's new to music production and they learn a few things about playing music, recording it, getting cool sounds and things like that. And they're really, really excited and really, really enthusiastic, and they have these great dreams, these pie-in-the-sky ideas. It's so much fun for them, and they make a couple of songs that they think are really good, and they are super confident in their abilities. Like, their confidence is through the roof. They think they're so great at what they're doing because they're very enthusiastic about it, and they learned a little bit. And they can do something with that they've never done before. To them, it's mind-blowing. To them, it's like, oh my God, look at what I can play these chords on the guitar and record it onto my computer, and then I can change that recording. This is so mind-blowingly cool. I'm gonna do all sorts of stuff with this. And they want to just go for it. They think they're gonna like get their record signed by a major label and like all that stuff. And it's like, well, they've only been doing this for like 3 years. And they're super excited, and they jump the gun. And they try to like get out there, get their name out there. And then they get rejected left and right and get all this harsh criticism and things like that. And it can shatter them, because they realize very quickly that they're actually not that good. And their enthusiasm, their enthusiasm's great. The confidence was misplaced because their skills were not that great. So they learn more and more and more and more about music production, and they gain more and more knowledge and more skills, and they become better and better and better and better. But their confidence goes down, because now they know that there's a lot that they don't know. You know, Socrates says the wise man knows that he knows nothing. So a beginner's confidence is skyrocketing, and then as they learn more and more and more, their confidence takes a freaking nosedive. And then as they learn more and more again, their confidence slightly goes up until it kind of plateaus at the level of like a professional or the level of a master, where like they're pretty confident, but they know that life is a whole learning experience and they'll learn forever, and their confidence will never be as high as it is at the beginning, because it's a delusional form of confidence. That's kind of what this changing line in this means, that you might be suffering from the Dunning-Kruger effect. And you need to really like take a step back and realize like, okay, am I really that great at this? Am I super good? The trick is keeping your enthusiasm, but giving yourself a reality check in terms of your confidence, and keep learning, and don't jump the gun. Don't do anything reckless that you're going to be embarrassed about later. Make sure you're practicing and you are truly good at the skills you're developing or the knowledge you're seeking. Because you have a great achievement ahead of you, not a mediocre one. You're going to do something really great. You know, the accumulation of knowledge is preparing it for dissemination. So it's got to be good knowledge. The accumulation of energy is preparing for release. So it has to be pure, high vibrational energy. The accumulation of wealth is preparing it to benefit society. So it has to be the correct resources put in the correct hands for the correct programs and the correct reasons. And you need to know the details of these things. And you need to take accounting of it all. So basically that's the beginning of your reading here, is like, don't jump the gun and make sure you really are as good as you think you are. And if and when you realize that you're not as good or you don't have as much knowledge as you need, maintain the enthusiasm. Even though your confidence is going to take a nosedive, we've all been there, especially creative people. We all experience the Dunning-Kruger effect multiple times in our lives with all the different disciplines we study, all the new things we get into, so don't feel bad about it. It's totally fine. Just maintaining your enthusiasm while the confidence goes down is important for you, because you have a great achievement ahead. There's a great achievement in your future. So just don't jump the gun. Use your powers that you're accumulating with discretion. And keep practicing, keep learning in the meantime. So now I'm gonna use my own divination system. I made up these 24 symbols on this piece of wood here. They're kind of like 24 aspects of reality, or something in your life to focus on. I'm gonna spin a coin. It's gonna land on one of these symbols. And then I'm gonna pull some cards for you. It's gonna be the aspect of your life that the Oracle wants us to focus on for you. So here we go. What does Gemini need to know? Air. It's pointing at the alchemical symbol for air. How appropriate. Gemini's an air sign. All right, so the aspect of your life, the air, that's your thoughts, your mentality, your speech, the way you talk to people. It can have to do with your views, the way you see the world. It can also do with the sense of hearing and your ears. Air. Anything else that you think of that's associated with air. The symbol mountain above, heaven below. Heaven is sometimes characterized by clouds. And mountain above, heaven below, that's like heaven, that's like clouds accumulating between mountains, It's like they're accumulating rain. So a mixture of air and water is accumulation, great accumulation of rain, something to purify and cleanse and nourish the soil, nourish life, getting ready to rain out, wealth to distribute to society, power to distribute to people, knowledge to disseminate, energy to spread and give. You're accumulating the rain like a cloud. You're accumulating the powers of heaven. So air, all right. What does Gemini need to know about the element of air in their life? We've got the Ace of Wands here. Interesting. It's a very fiery sign. The Ace of Wands, associated with air. This is a hot new beginning. This is a lot of energy that you have in your hands. You're like brimming with it. That's probably why you got the changing line, why you feel like you need to act. Because you're holding this burning stick. You're like, I have so much energy. I have this torch. You're like the Olympic runner. Like, I'm gonna light the freaking torch. I have the torch. It's my job to light the bigger torch. And you're gonna. But you can't teleport to the finish line. You gotta keep running. And you are running and running with that torch. And you have a lot of fire. And it's, when fire and air come together, it's extremely dry, And it's a heat and a coolness coming together, which creates wind and thunder. A lot of energy and a lot of movement. So you're like brimming, absolutely brimming with potential and energy. You're bursting at the seams with something. And you're being asked to restrain and contain and channel that energy to That's got to be difficult. That's got to be very, very difficult to have stillness like the mountain while you just have just like that spinal fire, that kundalini going up, just that spiritual energy that you're just, it's like, must be like sitting on top of a volcano, or like plugging a dam with your thumb, like a hole in a dam, like with your thumb, and you just know once you move your thumb, that's it. All right, I'm gonna pull another card for you. We'll get deeper into this. All right, what does Gemini need to know about air and fire? The Ace of Wands. It's just teeming, brimming with power and force, ready to burst out. This infinite potential, and like the ace, you could do anything with it. You could do anything with it. What does Gemini need to know about the air element? What is this Ace of Wands? Oh, interesting. Who got this? Someone else got this recently. Habitum, or disguise. Now this means habitat. It also means disguise. It's like being in a comfort zone and wearing a mask and just hiding in your comfort zone, hiding in your habitat. This came out kind of negatively for, I can't remember who, the other day, like hiding from themselves and stuff like this. But in this case, it feels a little different. It feels like you're supposed to disguise it, like all this energy that you have, because you're being asked to sit in stillness, you're being asked to wait a little bit longer. I think you shouldn't really let on that you have like a great plan or a great accumulation of energy or whatever it is you're accumulating. Maybe keep it to yourself. There could be some hangers-on who, want to exploit your energy and put it to their use. They want your great accumulation to be their great achievement. They want to steal your power maybe, and you're being asked to like hide it, not let it be known that you have this great potential. That you got to be like strategic with this sitting in stillness and looking for the right moment to advance, not advancing too soon, hiding it in the meantime, so that when the moment comes, it's all you, it's all yours, and no one can obstruct you. You'll come at them sideways, you'll surprise them, they won't be prepared for you, and they won't be able to stop you, whatever it is you're doing. They won't be able to divert you or steal your thunder or anything like that, because it's your thunder, right? So maybe just, maybe you gotta like do this on your own for a little bit. I'm not saying forever. When it comes time to advance, you'll need friends, you'll need help, and things like that. But just don't really hint. Don't let people know who shouldn't know. You know what I mean? And you probably have an intuitive sense of who those people are. All right, I'm gonna pull one last token for you. I drew up 64 of these guys on pieces of oak for my divination system. 64 little symbols. What does Gemini need to know about their air element? What does Gemini need to know? They both want to come out. I don't know, it felt like both of them. Okay, so here we have ether and the bear. So now that's the Sanskrit symbol for Ya. The sound that symbol makes is Ya. And here we have another I Ching symbol of heaven above earth. And the bear. So yeah, this is a very powerful symbol. This is like all of the elements. This is the thing that creates the elements. This is that fifth element, right? The akasha, the ether. It is that final stage. Oh yeah, here it is. So if there's a spiritual impulse, right, from God, from the Most High, from the source of reality, and it wants to come into manifestation, into the material realm, it goes through these different spiritual spheres to like take on all its different aspects, It takes on all the different energies of reality, through all these different layers of reality until it accumulates all of the aspects it needs, and then it becomes a material phenomenon. And like the last stage, or the between the spirit and matter, is the ether. So when a spiritual impulse takes on its material qualities, it passes through the ether and collects those material qualities. And it's like that final stage before a spiritual impulse becomes a material manifestation. It's that last bit of preparation, that last bit of accumulation. It's actually when a spiritual idea, a spiritual impulse accumulates its material qualities and then becomes a real thing, a material, tangible phenomenon. And so I think that's what this is. You're at that final stage, you're at that brink of, but you have to accumulate all the matter, all the material qualities, all the qualities of phenomenology, all the qualities of manifestation. They're not quite there yet. You're there, you're getting them though. You're in the process of acquiring them. And the bear hibernates all winter, right? You're hibernating. It's part of accumulating is hibernating. And yeah, you don't wake the sleeping bear. Bad things happen. We all know that. You don't poke a sleeping bear. But when the bear wakes up and it's time for him to act, and the spring comes and he awakens, like nobody gets in his way. You know, there are almost no predators who go after a bear. A bear is like top of the food chain in his own little world. Well, of course, sometimes there are wolves that gang up on them and things like that. So maybe you got to look out for a gang of wolves. I don't know. That would be your only predator, is a group of wolves. But you have a great deal of strength and steadiness and stillness, just this big gravitational pull that you possess. You're just this big, big force. And that force is sleeping and gathering strength right now, and it's about to wake up. Don't wake up too early. You know, if a bear wakes up during the winter and doesn't have its food supply prepared and still has its doesn't have all of its winter sleeping fat and starts to burn off that winter fat too soon because it didn't accumulate enough of it, it'll die. The bear will die, or usually. So this is another don't jump the gun symbol. I'm really getting that, but you're close. You know, don't sit and wait forever. Just make sure you've got everything you need, and don't be careless. Use discretion, use intelligence, and you will have a great achievement in your future. I look forward to your forward movement. Well, Gemini, I think that's all the Oracle and I have for you today. It's been great seeing you. Thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate you stopping by. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you next time.